final time in 2024, the MotoE class are suiting up for racing action. With a champion already crowned, the grand prize is off the table, but that doesn't mean there's nothing left to play for. Pride, honour and of course the rest of the riders will jostle for championship position. There couldn't be a better place to round out the season, and as the sun begins to roll off here in Misano, it's time to enjoy our final instalment. It's go time for MotoE. Hello and welcome for the final curtain call in the 2024 FIMNL MotoE World Championship. And here we are for race 16 finally. It seems like a long old time ago that we started this championship back in Portimao. Seriously long old time ago now, thinking about it. A lot has happened in the 2024 story. We've had various different winners, very different championship leaders at points throughout the season. But it's all come down to it, and in race one earlier today, we did eventually crown Hector Garzo as the 2024 MotoE World Champion. So it's Jack Gorst here with Neil Morrison alongside in the commentary box for the final time this season. And down there on the grid, we have Elliot York, who's waiting to grab a couple of words with some of the riders. And Neil, firstly, we have to say, of course, congratulations to Hector Garzo, because a fantastic job that he did in the first race to wrap it up nice and early. And in fact, we can indeed go down to the newly crowned world champion. He's with Elliot.
Down with Oscar Gutierrez. Oscar, how are you feeling ahead of the final race of the year? It's been a fantastic year so far. What are you aiming to do now?
Well, I'm really focused for race two, especially race one. We did a big change on the bike. We see that it was not working well, and now we put the same bike as all the year. So I think it's gonna be good, and we will try to finish the season in a good way.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well, it seems my ears aren't working very well. I thought Elliot said that it was Hector, but no, it was indeed Oscar Gutierrez, who, yeah, unfortunately didn't have the best of races earlier there in race one. Some small issues, ran off the track a couple of times, as he says there, about the setup not being quite right, and ultimately that does see him now with his championship out in this final race. But you have to say as well, as we say, Neil, the first race of the day, the job that Hector did to clinch the championship, and particularly with that last lap move that he put on Eric Granado through Curvoni, the fastest corner on the circuit here in Misano. He didn't need to do that, but he went for it anyway.
Yeah, it was a huge commitment move, wasn't it, from Hector Garzo on the final lap, and the whole race was pretty much like that as well. He had been suffering from quite a few nerves, I think, through the weekend since he came here on Thursday. Had a little crash during the tyre test on Thursday morning, which didn't help, I'm sure, but he fought through from 8th in the grid and showed, I think, pretty much from the first lap that he meant business in race one earlier today. And well, speaking of the newly crowned champ himself, the 5th different champion in MotoE history, he's down on the grid and he's with Elliot.
Yeah, Hector, your first race as a world champion, I'm sure, though, fully focused for race two. How are you feeling?
Yeah, thank you. For sure, keep the focus. We just need to end the season as we want. I'm feeling quite good. For sure now I'm less nervous than before. But, well, we will try to enjoy the race and fight for the team championship. And we will do our best for sure.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Elliot. Thanks as well to Hector Garzo, the new champ. Can he come through from the third row of the grid and fight for the podium like he did earlier on today? We had a thrilling, what was it, 5-6 rider fight up until the penultimate lap in race one earlier, with a whole host of names vying at the front. Kevin Znoni, Mattia Casadei, Alessandro Zacconi were the three names contesting the lead going into the penultimate lap. Zacconi coming through from 4th on the grid, and he'll be keen to end his season on a high note. Hasn't quite managed to take his championship fight until the final round, but an impressive season overall, you have to say, for Alizak.
Yeah, definitely. Got back to showing the speed that we know he's had in the past in the MotoE World Championship, and it's evidenced by the numerous pole positions he took, of course, the race victory, and a couple of podiums as well, including the possible chance of getting another one here. But further down the grid, of course, it is the last race in the storied career for Chaz Davies, and as we do say farewell to him in this final outing in the MotoE World Championship, we wish him well in whatever comes next for Chaz as he continues his work in the World Superbike paddock. He is down with Elliott. Yeah,
we do wish him well. Chaz, your final race in MotoE, potentially your final race ever competitively. How are you feeling?
I mean, mixed emotions, to be fair. I mean, after the season that I've had, I'm not, I'm definitely not too emotional about it. I'd be glad to step off in about 8 laps time, I'll tell you that. But no, I've enjoyed it. It's been a challenge, a really tough challenge. I've not managed to raise my level to where I was hoping to be, but that's life sometimes. It can't always be roses. So anyway, we'll go out for the last one, give it some, and yeah, and then we'll park it for life, I think.
Enjoy your final 8 laps, Chaz.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Elliott, and thanks as well to Chaz Davies. What a career he has had, even if this year hasn't gone to plan. World Superbike legend, I think we can say safely. Absolutely. In his own right. Chaz Davies, multiple runner-up in that series, multiple race winner as well, and yeah, great for him to be buying out from a storied career on his terms.
Yeah, rider that I grew up watching when he was obviously racing in World Supersport and then going forward into World Superbike. So a cool one to see Chaz finish out his career and park it for life, as he says there. Certainly looking forward to it. I think sitting on the couch and just relaxing and watching the racing from home for the next foreseeable years anyway. Nicola Spinelli there. Didn't exactly have the best of times in the race earlier today, but still Nicholas has had, again, like one of those up and down years. So many riders have had an up and down year this season, and hopefully he'll be able to end it on a high here in the final race of the day, in the final race of the 2024 season. It's coming your way right now. So here we go for race 16 of 16 in the 2024 MotoE World Championship. And once again, it's Mattia Casadei starting on pole position ahead of his LCR-E team teammate, Eric Granado, with Torres there completing the front row. Zacconi, Zanoni and Gutierrez start on the second row of the grid. And then looking back to the third row is where we find the newly crowned world champion. That number 4 will soon be a number 1 for Hector Garzo as he launches from 8th, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to end things on a very high note indeed. Now, as we flick through to the last page of the grid, you'll notice we've only got 17 riders out here this time. Unfortunately, after his crash in the earlier race, Massimo Roccoli not taking part in this second race of the day, so his season having an early bath. We wish him well, hope he's all good as he watches this one from the sidelines. So then, gents, predictions for the final time in 2024. We've had some good ones, we've had some terrible ones. Elliott will be courteous for the final time in the season. We're going to come down to you first. What do you reckon?
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I nailed the first one. I don't like to brag, but I got that absolutely spot on with Casadei winning, Garzo wrapping up the title. So let's go 2 for 2. I'm going to go for Kevin Zanoni to rebound after his race one disappointment, of course, crashed on the penultimate lap. So I'm going to go Kevin Zanoni for the race win.
Decent shout down, Elliott. Kevin Zanoni obviously sitting so promisingly in race 1 before a late disaster struck. I'm going to go with Alessandro Zacconi. I know I picked him in race 1, and well, he came within what, 1/10 of a second of victory earlier today. So I think Zacconi could finish his season in fine style. Jack?
Well, I'm torn between two, whether it's the former world champion Mattia Casadei or the newly crowned world champion Hector Garzo. I just think there's something perhaps maybe about Hector that he's the type of character where he'll really want to win this one just to make sure that they know he is the new world champion. So I'm going to go Hector from 8th on the grid.
Bold choice. But yeah, if race 1 is anything to go by, he should not be ruled out. So a little less pressure for a lot of these names going into the race, but still quite a few championship positions to determine going back from 2nd, and still a lot of pride and a lot at stake on the line in terms of end-of-year bonuses, and the team's championship still to be confirmed as well in favour of Intact GP.
Yeah, what is their advantage? What exactly is that? 29 points is that one, or is it 39 points? 29 points. My maths is absolutely terrible if you couldn't already understand that one. Also in the championship, as we do say, the Riders' Championship, very, very close between Oscar Gutierrez and Kevin Zanoni for 3rd. Only 3 points separating them, and they line up next to each other on the grid as we do cut to the number 99, Gutierrez. Let's see what he and Bo Zanoni can do. So we're under starters' orders for the final time in 2024. Eyes on the lights, and they will be going out, and we are racing. racing for race 16 of the 2024 series. It doesn't look like it's as good a start this time for Kevin Zanoni, but he is still going to come through to at least third place as his teammate Torres has to sit up not to be tripped up. And is that Gutierrez that swept round the outside into third? It is indeed. So a lightning start for the rookie from the back of the second row of the grid, but it's Cassidy with a whole shot who leads early here.
It is Cassidy, dream start for the second time in succession. Brilliant stuff from Oscar Gutierrez to come through from 6th on the grid. There was a few bobbles for the Aspar teammates coming through the first chicane with both Zanoni and Torres losing positions to Zacconi. Zacconi sitting there in 4th, and Hector Garzo, the recently crowned champ, there in, where is he?
P9.
P9 at the moment. He's actually lost quite a few positions in the first sector then.
Yeah, I've jinxed him with my pre-race prediction. Not a good one from me there. Sorry, Hector. I do apologise to the new world champion down in 9th. But as you can see at the front, already a little bit of a gap with these front three back to Alessandro Zacconi in 4th. So certainly Oscar Gutierrez, whatever changes they have made to that MT Helmets MSI machine, or the Axis MSI machine, I should say, they seem to be working here early on lap 1 as Zanoni looks like he's going to be through on the 61 to chase the rider in front of him, of course, who he's so close with in the championship for a 3rd overall.
Yeah, absolutely good move that from Kevin Zanoni, who showed a lot of dynamism in the earlier race today. Zacconi already coming under a bit of attack from Jordi Torres and Lucas Tulovic, so Zacconi having a bit of a slow start here. What a pace this is though from Mattia Casadei. The Kevin Zanoni in 4th is nearly a second back of Oscar Gutierrez already. Already looks like we might have a three-way fight for victory.
Yeah, lightning race lap 1 then from the two LCR team riders, as Granado in particular looks really racy towards the end of the first lap here. It looks like he might be wanting to make a move on his teammate. Of course, championship is off the table now, so, well, Eric can do as he likes, and it looks as though the 51 is lining something up here down into turn 4. Will he go to the inside? He does indeed, but not quite late enough on the brakes this time. Cassidy holds on.
Yeah, we know Cassidy, one of the latest breakers in this MotoE category, just about holds on down into turn number 4. The likes of Zanoni and Zacconi will be very hopeful that Cassidy and Granado start fighting it out amongst themselves. You can see Granado's shaping up to make an overtake down into Quercia, into turn number 8, but he declines to do it just on this occasion. Jordi Torres also looking on the inside of Alessandro Zacconi. And Garzo, well, he has managed to get past Mikel Pons. He is now up into 8th position, but already looking as though he's out of the podium fight.
Well, Cassidy covers the line going into turn 10 there. Doing a very good job to keep it nice and tight through Tremonto as they fire onto the back straight. Granado will look to get in the slipstream coming down towards Curvone, turn 11, but he'd be a brave man to make a move through there. Although it is likely as we go through these fast rights, as particularly Oscar Gutierrez got a big slipstream effect there, got sucked in a little bit and had to go way out onto the green through turn 12. But for Granado, if he can indeed get past his teammate, it'd be his first win since Mugello last season. It's been a long time since Eric Granado stood atop a MotoE podium.
Yep, too long in the Brazilians' eyes, and I'm sure all the Brazilian fans watching from home, in their eyes as well. We've had 6 different winners in the MotoE category so far this year, and Eric Granado looking to make it 7 as he comes across the line. Fastest lap coming in from Mattia Casadei, but that is soon surpassed by Kevin Zanoni, 140.113. You can see Zanoni 0.4 of a second quicker than the leaders.
So Zanoni on the move then, and realistically, if he wants to pinch that 3rd place in the championship off Oscar Gutierrez in front of him, he kind of needs to finish 1st or 2nd in this race. Oh, he has a big twitch on the front end, on the brakes down into turn 4, somehow saves it. Expert reactions there from Kevin Zanoni, but definitely not going to help in his crusade up to these top 3. What, he will have lost a good couple of attempts there in the first split. Yeah, he's lost around about 3 tenths from that single mistake there. So Zanoni with all the work to do again.
Yeah, he certainly does, but with clear track ahead of him, we know he has the speed. He showed that in race 1 for sure. But one thing that was interesting, Casadei seemed to have a little bit of an edge in the second half of the race to Kevin Zanoni when he was chasing him down in race 1. We know Casadei is a bit of a master, and he's able to manage this race at the moment, setting the pace that he wants to make. You can see Gutierrez is making all sorts of shapes with that Access MSI bike as he tries to hold on to the LCR duo just up ahead. He needs to be careful as well, Gutierrez, with track limits. You can see just on the left of your screen, he's had a track limits warning, as had Eric Granado just up ahead of him. So that is something for those two to keep in mind.
or Torres. I thought he was going to go and dive up the inside on Ciccone into turn 14, but not quite. Just got squeezed a little bit on the entry there. But these top 6, they must all surely be closing in. And even Lucas Tulovic, the newly crowned world champion's teammate on the Intact GP's team, is definitely closing up as well. We'll check the lap times as they fly across the line. This time around, it's a 40.6 for Cassidy in the lead, but behind, Ciccone a 40.2, Tulovic a 40.3, and Torres a 40.1. So this top 7, they're all squeezing together.
Yeah, Jordi Torres in 6th, now the fastest rider on track with a 1:40.1 last time around. Hector Garzo actually was down in the low 1-minute 40s as well. So the recently crowned world champion is making a bit of a late play to attach himself onto the back of this lead group, which would make it an 8-rider scrap. Tulovic and Garzo though just a little bit away, and you can see Ciccone getting well wide coming out of turn number 6 just there onto the back straight.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be out that wide. These new Misano style curbs, they're wide for a reason, because if you go over them, well, you're definitely losing time. So yeah, Ciccone, not ideal there picking that one up. He's going to have to be careful, because I'm sure if he does that once more, he'll receive a track limits warning as well, as so too as Nicola Spinelli down in 12th. Not going well for Spinelli, of course, who won the final race of the season here last season, as now we see Gutierrez firmly into the slipstream, looking to the inside at Cavoni, but no way through now, as they basically go free abreast down through the final section. Here, these fast rights in Misano, but once again, no one can outbrake Cassidy.
Yeah, absolutely, and Gutierrez was carrying some incredible lean angles through Cavoni there on the back straight. You can see Kevin Zanoni just behind, started this lap about half a second back of Oscar Gutierrez. He's now pretty much eradicated all of that deficit, so Zanoni right a part of this podium fight here.
Here we go then, this one is closing up as we're about to cross over for 4 laps to go here in the final race of the 2024 season. Matteo Ferrari has now set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39.862. That is a stonking lap time from the former World Cup winner here in MotoE, and he's down in 9th.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Ferrari was actually the quickest rider at the end of race 1 earlier today. Just a bad qualifying yesterday really has hampered his hopes. Qualified down in 10th, but once again showing that well, the 6-time winner at this Misano World Circuit in the MotoE category still has something to give to this class.
Yeah, we used to coin him Mr. Misano. He used to be dominant around here. It certainly hasn't been quite that way in 2024, but once again showing that he's still got the speed locked in there. Just need the pieces of the puzzle to come together and slot into those positions. And I'm sure that next season, if we see Matteo Ferrari back in this championship, he'll be back on form.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's just passed Hector Garzo to go up into 8th place, so good stuff again from Ferrari. You just wonder if Cassidy, he's trying to manage his tyres and make sure that everything is in order for him to have a decent late attack, because he's not setting the world alight. You can see the rider in 8th and 9th, they're considerably faster than this lead group, and is Cassidy just trying to control the pace before launching a late attack in to try and play it clear?
Oh, change for second. Gutierrez got through somewhere. That must have been during those 3 fast rights coming down towards turn 14 there, the kind of bus stop hairpin before these final 2 left-handers. So now it will be alarm bells for Cassidy. As you say, Neil, if he is conserving those tyres and just managing his pace, I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to be able to do that anymore with the number 99 all over him.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been some comeback for Oscar Gutierrez in a season when he's managed to do some incredible things from quite far back on the grid. Think back to Assen when he qualified 11th, managed to come through to 2nd in both races. He has launched a similar comeback, but he almost threw it away there coming through turn number 3, had a massive bobble, and very fortunate not to give up 2nd position to Eric Granado.
He certainly is spectacular, isn't he, Oscar Gutierrez? Always the bike dancing underneath him. Sometimes it gets a little bit too lively with the dance moves, and there, as you see, it costs him a little bit of time, but I think he's going to recover that one, because so far, as soon as he's broken through on Granado, he does look extremely aggressive, and look how much time he closes on the brakes, trail braking down into Quercia, turn 8, and already he's ditched Granado by about 2/10 in just that one corner.
Yeah, he has, and he's been super strong out of this Tramonto corner all race long. Has Oscar Gutierrez into Cavoni has been where he has been super strong. And let's see if the number 99 can launch an attack on the number 40. You can see he's pulling out, he's pulling to Mattia Cassidy's right, and he is through a change of the lead then for the first time, as Oscar Gutierrez completes a fantastic comeback from 6th.
Brilliant stuff then from Oscar Gutierrez, and you have to think what could have been in the championship chase if he hadn't have made that critical and crucial mistake on the final lap of race 2 in Austria. Who's gone down, skittling down the road? Is that Matteo Ferrari? I believe it is, on the Grassini team bike.
I think it might have been Tulovic. It is, yeah. Lucas Tulovic, the German, then has come a cropper down at turn 14. An unfortunate way for the German to end his MotoE World Championship, and that will be lost points, of course, for the Intact GP squad as well.
Of course, Tulovic done so well this year to showcase his speed all throughout the season after such a big crash in Mugello earlier this year, and that's a shame to end it on a bum note here in Misano. But back to the front, Oscar Gutierrez does indeed lead with 2 laps to go. And I'll tell you what, I don't think they're going to have the pace to be able to get right onto the back of him to where they need to be to make a manoeuvre.
Yeah, Casadei was half a second slower than Gutierrez last time around. The question is, has he just been conserving his tyres for a late race push? And the way he's shaping up to try and attack Gutierrez would suggest, yes, he has. Here he goes down into Quercia, turn number 8, one of the favourite overtaking hotspots on this Misano World Circuit. Not quite close enough on that particular occasion, or maybe he just chose to stay in second. But Casadei certainly making Gutierrez work, putting him under all kinds of pressure.
Yeah, I think what I said 30 seconds ago was definitely wrong, as now Gutierrez has made his own error and gone deep into Tremonto, launching onto the back straight. He'll look to get in the slipstream to recover from the error immediately, and can he do it down through into Caverne? No, not close enough this time, but we've seen how fast he's been through these right-handers throughout this entire race. But Casadei has always been phenomenal on the brakes throughout this year, and it's no different down into turn 14 here in Misano. Gutierrez definitely tried it, but still not close enough.
Yeah, Gutierrez certainly had a look. There was that dress rehearsal for the next lap, which will of course be the final lap of this race, the final lap of the MotoE World Championship in 2024. And just as we started the year, we're ending it with an absolute cracker.
16 races of pure brilliance from MotoE this year, and we're going to end it with a 16-wheeler at the front on the final lap as Gutierrez hits the front tip to turn 1. Brilliant stuff from the rookie. Casadei will look to counter, watching for the switch back as they go out on the exit through turn 3 here. And also don't forget about Eric Granado, searching for his first victory in a season and a half. Does he dare go up the inside of his teammate? No, not this time round, as behind 2 teammates are battling as well, as I think Torres has moved aside the younger Zanoni. Yep, and Torres is up into 4th. Here we go on the last lap. It's going to be all-out battle in the final 2 sectors.
Yeah, and it's a 3-way fight for victory. Kevin Zanoni dropped back. Now you can see the 3 riders up ahead. Eric Granado going to maybe make a move on his teammate down into turn 8. Not quite able to. Look at this, 5 into 1. Will not go into turn 8 for the fight for 4th. I think Yoli Torres is just about managing to hold on to that. Alessandro Zacconi's lost quite a lot of positions there to Hector Garzo and Matteo Ferrari.
I don't know where to look, Neil. It's all kicking off here as the newly crowned champion, Hector Garzo, is getting his elbows out on the inside of Matteo Ferrari, and it looks as though, what's going on? We need to see the leading trio. Oscar Gutierrez is leading down into the final sector of the race. We now switch to them. Casadei, can he mount a challenge? We know he's been unreal on the brakes all season long, but surely that's too big of a gap to go for. It's going to be down to the final corner. Get it perfect here, Oscar. You've got 2 corners left between you and picking up the final race victory of the season. But Casadei, surely he's the king of this place in recent years. No, not close enough. Gutierrez, can he hold on? This time he hasn't thrown it away in the final sector, and Gutierrez will win the final race of the season in one of the best battles all year long. Awesome stuff to end the year on such a high. Congratulations, Oscar Gutierrez. If only he hadn't made a crucial error in Austria last time. Oh, what could have been. But it's all if, buts and maybes. Congratulations to all of the podium trio. Mattia Casadei making that, what is that? His 8th podium in a row here in Misano. And Eric Granado as well, back on the box. Well, obviously on the box earlier today, but back on the box properly here. Brilliant stuff from Eric Granado, and congratulations once again to our new world champion here, Hector Garzo, as he does indeed go over to congratulate his sparring partner from this season. And I'm sure those two will have a few chats after this race and a look back on some good battles throughout 2024.
Yeah, Hector Garzo may have won the championship, but I think Oscar Gutierrez, the surprise and certainly the breakout star of the MotoE 2024 World Championship, manages to jump up the order and finish the season like he has performed pretty much throughout it impressing and performing spectacular last lap feats. And to beat Mattia Casadei in the Italians' backyard really does take some doing. As you said, his 8th consecutive podium. Casadei has won here in each of the past 3 years. What a ride that was, coming through from 6th on the grid. Well, we saw some MotoGP heroics earlier coming through from the 2nd row, and Gutierrez has made his own effort of that here in race 2.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Just a shame that they didn't quite get the setup right in the first race. I'm sure he'd be disappointed with that one, because, of course, potentially there was the chance of pinching 2nd in the World Championship. First was a long way to go, being 49 back coming into today with only 50 on the table. But yeah, phenomenal turnaround from that first race of the day, which really was a difficult one for Gutierrez to win here in the final stop of the 2024 Tour.
Yeah, and confirms his 3rd place in the championship as well, which is good for the Spaniard. Disappointed for Kevin Zanoni, who just missed out on that 3rd position. But I think on the balance of play, Gutierrez, considering that he's won 3 races now in 2024, probably just about deserves that 3rd place overall. Brilliant stuff from Oscar, and great as well from Eric Granado. First double podium that he's had all season long. A really troubled year for the Brazilian, but he's ended it in some style here. And a great day overall for the LCR E team as well. Didn't quite manage to knock Intact GP off the top perch in the team's championship, but still managed to cement a really strong 2nd.
Yeah, fantastic job from the pair of them today to, as I say, cement that 2nd place in the championship, and actually levelled it at 343 points apiece with the Open Bank Aspar team. But I presume that one is a count back on podiums and victories. So yeah, fantastic job there from LCR to grab 2nd in the team championship. And I believe, in fact, we can hear from the teammate of Oscar Gutierrez just winning that race. We can go down to El, who's with Ryusei Yamanaka.
I am, yeah. Ryusei, you know Oscar really well. What a race win for your teammate in MT Helmets. Talk us through that race for us. How are you feeling?
Well, I saw he's really strong on the braking, especially turn late. He catching a lot, and he gave it a good pace in the last lap, and last lap was amazing for me.
Thank you, Ryusei.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ryusei there, and Elliot down at Parc Fermé. Great to see Eric back in really strong form. Of course, it's been a difficult season with various injuries and incidents throughout the races. I know that, of course, he had to take some extra time to heal after a bit of a whack to head in one of the rounds this year. And, of course, that has been something that's plagued his career in the last couple of years, some head injuries. So it's great to see Eric still got that pace and still be able to fight right at the front in MotoE. And I'm sure that if we see him back next year, finally that might be the year where Eric does indeed go and put it all together, because it's come so close before. It might just happen next season.
Yep. Maybe unknown to Eric, but Oscar Gutierrez's late move on Casadei for the lead ensures that he remains the most winning rider in MotoE history. 11 wins, Casadei with 10. He was vying to equal that record on that final lap, but just didn't quite have enough for Oscar Gutierrez. Celebrating with his MSI squad. What a season it's been for them, coming into MotoE for the very first time, much like they've done in Moto2. It's been a brilliant introduction to this electric series, and they've showed that they mean business. You have to imagine they'll be back again next year and stronger than ever.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how things develop in the coming months with riders confirmed for 2025 MotoE season. But I'm sure, as Neil says, the Actis MSI squad, whoever their riders may be, will have a strong lineup and fighting for race victories and hopefully a championship once again, because that is the caliber of that team. Done a phenomenal job in the 2024 season. And so many teams. We've, of course, seen the Aspar squad have great patches of glory throughout 2024. So too the LCR team, as you look down there and see both of their bikes in Parc Fermé once again. And indeed, we can talk to the first of them as well. Eric Granado rounding out his season in style with another 3rd place. He's down with El.
Yeah, Eric, a great job here. Double podium in Misano to end the season. How you feel?
Yeah, I feel so good. It's amazing to be here in the Parc Fermé. You know, both races. It's the first time this season, so this is amazing. It's very good to finish the season like this. It was a very difficult one for me. I always had very good speed, always was there on the top, but something happened in the races and I couldn't finish where we are now. So yes, the team did a great job this weekend, you know, both riders in the podium in 2 races, so this is amazing. It's just a very good motivation for the future. And now, like always, I need to do it in Portuguese. Bom, estou muito feliz com a corrida, é muito especial estar aqui de volta no pódio, nas 2 corridas, primeira vez esse ano. Foi uma temporada muito difícil, mas eu não desisto nunca. Eu sou um cara que sempre continuo trabalhando e me dedicando e o resultado está aqui. Fizemos aí a primeira fila, 2 pódios, ótimo trabalho da minha equipe. Obrigado a todos aí de casa que torcem, vão para cima que ano que vem tem mais. Valeu.
Great job, Eric.
I won't pretend that I understood everything he was saying in Portuguese there, but nice words from Eric Granado nonetheless.
A nice burnout too.
Exactly, yeah. What needs to be done at the end of the season, and he is right. He has qualified on the front row 4 times this year, qualified in the second row 3 times. He has always been there in terms of speed, not quite in terms of results. Great race again from Mattia Casadei, double podium, had his home round, and he's in Parc Fermé with Elle.
Yeah, Mattia, great race, double podium here in Misano. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, very happy about the victory of this morning, and unfortunately we missed the second win for nothing, but it's the race and we do our best. We finish the year very strong, and it's very important. I'm happy for this, and thanks for all. Nothing, see you next year.
See you next year.
Bye.
Indeed we will. We will see Mattia Casadei next year as he comes back to try and steal back the crown that he has so unfortunately lost this year. Of course, at points this year we thought, well, it might just be the Casadei show once again, but testament to the run that Hector Garzo went on in the second half of the season. Found the purple patch and the consistency when he needed it to overhaul a great champion like Mattia. And as he says, 2025, he's coming back for that crown. And here's a rider that I'm sure if he is back will come for that crown as well. Oscar Gutierrez wins the final race of the season. He's down with Elle.
Oscar, I think that setting change worked that you mentioned on the grid. What a race, what a victory to end the year on a high.
The best way possible to end the year, especially after race 1, I told you we did a risky change on the bike, but I was feeling really bad. And yeah, I talked with the team, we were studying the data, and we go back to the same bike as all year. And yeah, you know, I think since the first lap I say, okay, this is my bike. Let's enjoy the last race of the season, and what can I say? No, amazing feeling. Thanks to my team, because I think for my first year is a good year, and now we will work hard for next season, and we will make a better 2025.
Great job, Oscar. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, you would have to agree with Oscar Gutierrez. What a rookie campaign it's been. 3 victories and 3rd in the championship run-in as well, up until the penultimate race. I don't think many people would have been predicting that back in Portimao. Gutierrez lacking, what, 5 years of experience compared to the likes of Mattia Casadei and Eric Granado. At times was making it look the other way around.
Yeah, did a miraculous job, it has to be said, and particularly with so many times where he turned up to a circuit where not only did he not have knowledge of the circuit on the Ducati MotoE machine, but perhaps didn't even have knowledge of that circuit at all.
Yeah, and this being one of them. He obviously had knowledge of this track, but compared to the likes of Casadei, his home track, Gutierrez was coming into the weekend saying it's going to be very, very difficult to beat a lot of the fast Italians in the series. Yet, here we are in race 2, and Gutierrez has managed to do it. A 3rd victory of 2024.
And it's telling as well when you look at the score sheet. Of course, he only had MotoE experience of Austria and Barcelona last year, and Barcelona, well, that was the place where he picked up his first win in MotoE, and Austria, well, he picked up another win and his first ever pole position as well. So if he comes back next year with experience of all these tracks, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he mentioned to me on Thursday that he was actually set to stay in Austria, I think through until the Sunday, But after the disaster in race 2, when he crashed out with just 2 corners remaining, out of the lead as well, he said he just had to get out of the country pretty much immediately. Couldn't stand sticking around, had to go and clear his head. And well, that worked, because he came out swinging there in race 2 to end the season in fine style. And really, if you're looking back at the championship, Jack, I would probably say it was that double header at the Sachsenring which probably swung it in Hector Garzo's favour, because he had probably the best weekend of his career just then. A double victory in really tricky conditions. We obviously had the dry race 1, which was truncated by a lot of different incidents, and then we had a wet race 2, and that was obviously quite tricky for the likes of Casadei, who had a really bad day at the office on that particular occasion, the pair of 9s. And it was a tricky day as well for Oscar Gutierrez. So I think that was maybe the day when the title swung in Garzo's favour.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one, absolutely. And I think Garzo as well is my rider of the year that has finally realised his potential. We've always seen, in whether it's in MotoE or in Moto2, he's got the potential to do good things. Been on podium many times in seasons past in MotoE, and of course podium in Moto2 as well, and some other strong rides. But this year really was the year where he finally put it all together and made it work. So for the final time then, we'll bring the riders out onto the podium, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Eric Granado to the podium after a really turbulent year. You have to say this is probably one of Eric's more turbulent seasons, and Eric certainly knows how to do things the turbulent way at times. Mattia Casadei back up onto the podium. Bittersweet day for Mattia, that's for sure, losing that World Championship title, but going out on a high note. But going out on the highest note of all of them, Oscar Gutierrez, the rookie, with his 3rd win of the season and 5 further podiums as well, caps off a remarkable first year in MotoE.
So the trophy for 3rd place given to Eric Granado. 4th time he's been on the podium so far this season. Next up is the trophy for 2nd, given to Mattia Casadei. Did not quite manage to be successful this year, but 2nd overall, by no means a disaster. Nicolo Trevisan, and in the winner's trophy over for the 3rd time this year to Oscar Gutierrez. He lifts it high into the air. I have to imagine there'll be some celebrations tonight in his camp. And here we have the Spanish national anthem.
sul podio di Misano.
16 races in the books, and that is finally time to throw the final curtain on the 2024 MotoE season. And what a season it's been. New names getting involved, particularly there Oscar Gutierrez, and also names returning to some former power, the likes of Zacconi, and other riders as well, particularly as well Kevin Zanoni, who we haven't spoken so much about after the final race here, but probably one of the most improved riders in the 2024 season, and it all means that we're bubbling up for a very competitive 2025, which will be faster than ever as well, with some new parts coming to the Ducati MotoE machine. So for the final time then, there is your classification. Oscar Gutierrez wins the final race of the season by just over a tenth from Mattia Casadei to deny him of the double on the final day of the year. Eric Granado picks up his third place there, with Torres making a late move on Zanoni to relegate him back to fifth. And champion, newly crowned champion that is, Hector Garzo takes seventh in the final race of the year. Chaz Davies scores a point in what could be his, well, as he says actually, his final competitive race ever, bowing out with a very storied career. And there is your championship standings. By 15 points, Hector Garzo is the new world champion, taking it away from Mattia Casadei, who finishes runner-up. Gutierrez, the rookie there, 38 points back in the end. He'll be looking back at some of those DNFs and missed opportunities as to what could have been. And Eric Granado clinches 10th place in the standings after what has been a difficult year for the Brazilian. Rounders out Maria Herrera down there in 16th, Chaz Davies and Armando Pontoni. Constructors' Championship, well, that's not too much of a surprise, of course. But in terms of the Teams' Championship, it should indeed go the way of the Intact GP squad as well. So double glory for them on Saturday here in Misano. 357 points, taking it by 14 ahead of both LCR and Aspar. Tied level there, couldn't get closer. Tech 3, they take 4th, and all the way down there to the Aruba Cloud MotoE racing team in their first year in the championship, picking up 58 points. So that's pretty much going to be it from us here in the 2024 series. And one last look at the highlights, and then we'll say ciao for now and see you in 2025, where once again the action will pick up and it will be electrifying. Here's your final look back at the last race of the year.
Yeah, and it was a great start from Mattia Casadei, off pole position, but look at the number 99 of Oscar Gutierrez moving from the right of the track to the left into turn 1. He managed to come through to 3rd position from 6th on the grid early on, just behind Eric Granado. Then we had the likes of Kevin Zanoni and Jordi Torres just behind them. Came very, very close to crashing out at turn 3 on that particular occasion, and then he was up fighting for victory with Mattia Casadei. That great move at Curvoni followed. Casadei was able to muster up a response. At one point in this race, we had 9 different riders fighting in that podium battle, with Lucas Tulovic crashing out down at turn 14. Casadei is having a look. This is where he retook the lead with, I think, 2 laps to go. At this point, he was on for a famous double victory on home soil, but Gutierrez had other ideas, taking the lead for the decisive time into turn 1 on the final lap. Managed the great block pass, which really closed the lead group up together. We didn't really know where to look, whether it was the fight for 1st or the fight for 4th. Gutierrez managed to resist late pressure to hold on for his 3rd victory of the season and confirm himself as the breakout star in this year's championship. It's been another brilliant year in MotoE in 2024. Some technical changes promised to make 2025 even better. Until then, goodbye.